Hi everyone. Today is, I think, on linear time, April 2nd, 2025. As you can see, the title of this live is Ascension Update, but also the final judgment days that we are currently in. So where I will begin with this is for any that have not noticed worldwide the extensive, unprecedented flooding in many areas: South America, Colombia, Brazil, Ecuador, Argentina, Australia, uh, in what you would call the Northern Hemisphere, Texas, California, in the recent past, Carolinas, east coast of the U.S., all over Europe, over the last year, many places, extensive flooding, and of course, Asia, Saudi Arabia, India, all over the world, really. And so if anyone's not informed of that, this is a great foundation of information of unprecedented flooding worldwide. But of course, also, let's say, unprecedented fires to the degree that they occur in places where really and typically they did not before. So having said this, we look at that, you look at your volcanic eruptions that are increasing, you look at your earthquakes increasing, and also the magnitude of them. And it's important to bring this up, and the intensity of the storms, and the so many things that have been seen in the skies by the ones who can see. And when I say the ones who can see, those are the ones that their attention will be attuned to actually seeing the signs, but also knowing that they are divine signs in the least. So having said this, everything has been written through antiquity and in some form that this time would come, and the final judgment days, which we are in. This does not mean a catastrophic ending for ones. What it does mean is the catastrophic ending of the old world. And with the judgment that plays out here, everyone needs to understand, as part of your foundation and doing your inner work and your purification, to be prepared for these final days, was and is a very serious thing. So typically in linear time 2012, for those awakened then, on an individual basis, they were awakened to go through their experiences of trials and tribulations, if you will. So a 7-year period to make any amends for what they had done in the past that might have not been, just such pure good things to do. And so with each subsequent wave that had awakened, another prominent wave in 2015, another one 2017, 2021 perhaps. These are what I call waves of ones that once they awaken with their consciousness, to the degree that they know that it's important to do their inner work, and that there is an actual divine ascension protocol that is playing out on earth. So once that recognition comes to them, then they began their own periods of of trial and tribulation to purify, to be ready for the great time. And so this is where we're at. We're in the final judgment days where each judges theirself by their actions, what is pure, what is virtuous, and what is not. And typically along the way, there have been divine teachers here upon earth, incarnated to give the teachings and let's say the instructions for ones to do the necessary inner work, and also the guides to guide ones and assist ones with doing their energetic work, because it is a prerequisite to the ascension. For the extremes of the examples, the darkness does not go forward, and they cannot for what they are. However, the light does. But the infection of the light ones in this world, the contamination has to be cleaned up within, and that is the inner work that ones do. For example, you cannot be part of a new reality where darkness and negative, nefarious behavior occurs if you have it in you. So you need to do the clearing here, and it is a very, the most important and a meticulous job of doing that individually. So getting back to what I said, what has occurred is right at this point in time, because of the indicating extreme natural disasters occurring, it is showing that we are in the final judgment days, where it gets more intense, as everyone has seen, and there is the last minute choices and decisions by ones to do the right thing. So typically, the basics, everyone's been taught not to judge, or if you are to judge righteously, which means that you have the proven facts, that they're incontestable facts in any of your judgments, if you had to go into judgment. But what it's been given for all to avoid judging others, so that you did not get entangled into those traps, if you will. It's important to evaluate. That is your discernment, your divine discernment of what to associate with and what not to associate with, and to always make your higher choices. So we've been given the clues, if you will, for this time, and I love looking at the Bible. As we know, many things in the Bible was distorted and manipulated. However, the core genuine seeds are there. So as with anything you read, one needs to use their divine discernment to know what to throw away and what to keep, and especially in the Bible. One of the things I will say in the Bible is Romans chapter 13. Once you look at that, you can see and feel very quickly how it's non-resonant, and you can feel the manipulation, that it actually was not written by the apostle at all, that someone else interjected it to maintain a control and an illusion over humanity. Nevertheless, all of you are equipped to see through the illusions, to see to the deeper mechanics of the tactics of darkness, and to learn as you progressed through your journey, to learn the darkness so that you could better discern and evaluate your associations and also your directions and what you were doing, and also to uh, assist you to knowing more about yourself and knowing more about this actual ascension and how serious it really is. So we're in the final days of the judgment, if you will. And it's at this time, for the most part, because we're seeing the floods and the fires, it means that most have been judged at this time by their actions and their deeds. Typically, to believe in God and be a good person, if you will, and do the right things, that is enough to ascend, whether they're in higher consciousness or not. So these are important energetic characteristics and attributes for one to have that allows them to go forward. But also in this great time, we need to revisit and look at some of the other statements that were connected to the writings about the final judgment days. And one of the things what we look at that was written back then, but of course things change. One thing that was written is that one will go and one will stay. So if you look at that, that was half of the world's population. However, things change with the divine plan, but very rarely. But nevertheless, the base, if you will, is that the base proportion right now is approximately 25% does not go forward, for the simple reason that they are minions, they're men made by men, they're constructs of the darkness, and they do not have within their genetic makeup, and they do not have the connection to God, to Source. And this is why they are men made by men. They are not made by God through the love procreation of two coming together, if you will, to keep it simple. So again, when we look at that base number of about 25% does not go forward, it's important to understand that there are events that occur to appropriate that, to facilitate it, to accommodate it. And you're beginning to see some of these through floods, earthquakes, and what have you. So when you look at, it's important to know that when you look at loss of life, to add in to your evaluation, is it actual souls, or is it the dark minions leaving your current reality? So it's important to know that, yes, few will ascend during this period, more notably since 2012. Few have ascended through the death process. So this is why you will have ones that you know are a soul, but they have gone forward. So this is typical, and it is part of the equation as well. So as we're nearing the end of these judgment days, and let's say a few months ago it was put out, I, as one guide and one teacher, put out the importance of forgiveness, for ones to make amends for anything that they may have done wrong toward another, to make amends, to be accountable, to recognize what they might have done wrong, to repent, make amends, so that they could redeem their self. So there is the self-redemption process by ones. And their forgiveness and their repentance and redemption process is very important. It occurs on the individual level. It is their choice as a soul, what they have made, and in their agreement, if you will, with Mother, Father, and Creator. So what is occurring as well is the promise, the heaven on earth, the rapture, whatever you wish to call it, that is being fulfilled at this time. And again, no darkness can exist in heaven. And so there is this clearing that is going on to facilitate that, to keep it very simple. It's very important to note in this great time of judgment, and this has been written, that the facets of darkness, if you will, that they would have to come to the surface to be judged as well. So this is also why in this great time you saw so much evidence of the darkness at attempting to perpetrate and control humanity, because they needed to be identified into this energetic space as they needed to be identified as their intent, but also identified by the others at knowing that they could not go forward. But they did serve to show ones, in the least, why this world, the worldwide beast system, was not for humanity, that it was designed, for something else. And all of the dark ones that had run the beast system, and any of their associations had to be revealed and exposed through a form of judgment. So again, by their actions and deeds, they would judge themselves, because the rest of the people, souls, would see it. And this is to facilitate the judgment. And again, you have many different levels of consciousness that were still ongoing, preparing for the advanced civilization of humanity and the heaven on earth. So the darkness had to be brought to light and allow them to play out their actions and deeds for everyone to see, because that served their judgment as well. So not only did they judge theirself, not only did they judge theirself with Prime Creator, they also were judged by the people. And so this overall judgment does not allow them to go forward, is how it energetically plays out. So in this great time, there is also what we can label as unforgivable sin. And unforgivable sin typically is when, let's say, a fallen one, and you can reference this in the book of Enoch, if you will, whoever looks at that, when one disobeys the word of God, or disobeys God, and let's say blasphemy is very real, when some of these things occur, that when ones are set on a path and given, the right things to do as well, but when they deter from the path, when they wave off of it, and they were originally designed to do it, when they go off of the path, if you will, and they began to blasphemize God and what it is, that is a violation of creation and a violation of God. Hence, it becomes a extreme judgment, but it also secures these ones because it's been preordained that there would be the unforgivable sin provision that was in there to ensure that the darkness did not go forward as well. It's really, truly quite complex, the mechanics of how everything works with this ascension, and I have gone at this time a little bit further in to explain with the judgment days and the seriousness of it, because it is time for it, as everyone can see. So we're seeing some final battles playing out here in the final days, intense battles as well, because it has to appropriate the judgment upon those not going forward and those going forward. And with this judgment, many of you are feeling the intense, heavy, dense energies as well. And you're feeling that it's not you if you have done all of your inner work. You know, typically, again, basically, be a good person, be virtuous, believe in God. So if you have done all those things and do no harm to another, again, love thy brother that is light, you don't want to, you don't love the darkness. And, you know, many were tricked into that at sending love to the darkness. You don't do that. The darkness is the darkness, and they cannot change. So it does not assist in sending them love. What you actually do is put the light so that they don't exist, because these sort of actions are not acceptable, and of course they don't go forward. So it's not so much, and right at this time, it's not so much to love the darkness, because they know what they did and they know what they do. That's what the darkness does. They cannot change. So it becomes a waste of time with that. Also, quickly, the divine plan of GPMS.world, that's why it doesn't confront governments or any of the evil. It collects and gathers all of those in alignment with ascension and the new world, the good souls, to go forward. Because the focus is at this time at gathering all in one place to go forward. And the darkness cannot go. Let me say, the darkness attempts to infiltrate divine instruments, if you will. They have done in the past with, let's say, the White Brotherhood, the Bible, the Christ teachings, even manipulated Islam teachings, and so it's been prevalent that the darkness in the past always attempts to infiltrate good things. And it's one of the dark tactics. They're notorious for doing that, of course. But also it's more revealing, so that they are also judging theirself with every action that they do. Where they judge theirself, it makes it more obvious to the souls. Yeah, you know, they're dark. Look at their actions, their deeds, at least. In the times of Christ, you know, let's just look at this a little bit. What Christ, Jesus, attempted to do was to change the world back then. Even though Jesus created many miracles, if you will, there was that opposition force against it, against him, that was very dark, as we know. So, you know, that played out the way that it did. However, it seeded so many clues for this time as well. So I got a little bit kind of what I was going to say there divinely. But nevertheless, getting right back to now, it's important for everyone to be kind, love your neighbor that is not evil. This is the thing. One thing that Father said to Jesus, Father Prime Creator, said to Jesus a long time ago, is that the people love evil. Meaning that, let's say with their capitalistic system, even back then, that the people chose and loved that and wanted to be and drinking alcohol in luxury and, enjoying all of the good things without realizing that it was at the expense of the majority of souls upon earth. And it has grown the expense of the amount of souls on earth. It has grown now to perhaps 90% or more of the souls on earth are actually the slaves for 10% that experience and enjoy comfort. So you can see this huge imbalance, if you will. And you can also add this into the equation of why the judgment days have come as well. When you look at the people worldwide, you can find that 85, 90% or even more does not believe in any form of government, nor do they trust them really anymore. Even though if you look at election results in any country, you know that numbers are also fabricated, and you also know that there are the dark boiler rooms and the darkness that manipulates numbers to create an illusion as well overall. And they force their agenda and their brainwashing the darkness as well, because there is also what the darkness thinks is that there is a battle for the souls here. So the more that the darkness feels they can trick and keep ones into the enslavement beast system, the darkness thinks that they can own them, if you will, and control them. But no, that is not the truth, because we are in the final judgment days and the beast system, the evil system, is rapidly imploding, and any child of God, any soul is going forward, whether they go forward through a quick death process, or if they take the physical vessel forward to continue the first part of the overall ascension. So as you will see as well, the ascension and the ability to do it in the rapture, by one's being knowledgeable of that and having that within their belief system, it is the connection to do it. Ones that don't believe it cannot go forward unless they were, a good person. Then in the blink of an eye, they awaken and they get it all. And, I love one of the old adages, if you don't believe in magic, you don't know that it exists, if you will. So, what this depicts is the ignorance, but also it depicts the levels of consciousness and the orientation of beliefs and how it can restrict ones. Another great thing, everyone knows that the wind exists. They see the effects of it, but you really never see the wind itself in motion. You see the effects of the wind, but you don't see the wind. And again, the wind is very real because you see the effects of it. And those that believe in God knows that God is real because you see the effects of God, even though you don't see God. So God is Also, you can make this analogy, what I just said. Just because ones don't see something, it doesn't mean that it's not there. And the wind is a great example of that. And this is why each, need to be objective in their perspectives and in what is actually truth and what is not as you go forward. Um, so with this, there's the divine plan. It's all ascertained with the ascension, but again, there's some variables with it, and the quicker that more get aligned with the divine plan and the ascension, the quicker it gets done. And so how it gets done, there can be, let's say, more than one way that the ascension occurs. However, this is a planetary ascension, taking this actual real planet Earth, Gaia, forward into the pristine conditions, and also eradicating all of the negative evil forces. So there is the process with that. It's still possible that a lot of the process could be emitted by a light quotient of enough coming together with the one common denominator to create the new Earth instantly. So that can create a flashpoint, but what it takes is also the conscious and soul alignment to that effect. So what we have again is GPMS.world is the divine instrument to that effect, and I have put labels on it as being the ark, if you will, the ark to the new world, the new Jerusalem, even because any that becomes a part of this, they genuine ones, they are aligned with the new world. So the more numbers we get with consents into GPMS.world, it's an energetic vehicle. It's a creational vehicle itself, which also breaks down the old matrix, the illusion, the old reality, and the beast system. So the energetic light quotient of it is so important. And, also what we have, I look, objectively worldwide to evaluate many that say they're awakened, that they're spiritual ones and what have you, yet they are not with GPMS.world. So what I will say, also, we can look at the unprecedented floods and fires and signs. This is also to, let's say, incentivize more to go forward, to unite, to gather as one. Most have been informed of simple metaphysics, meaning that metaphysics substantiates what I said with GPMS.world. Also, mass meditation, ones know the real effects of that. So many in their consciousness have been seeded with different tools and instruments to effect the whole, which again is the divine plan in GPMS.world. But what you also had out there is false prophets and false light, that's saying, for example, with some things, they say you don't need to do anything, just go and sit under a tree, if you will. However, as many light workers can attest to, that's not the case. You have to make a physical stand here as well to assist in the old system no longer being supported. So there are many integral factors in this, and it's not for ones just to go and sit under a tree. If you are a divine conduit here to change the world as well. So again, the quicker that all come in alignment, all of the genuine light comes into alignment with the divine plan and recognizing it, the quicker it gets done. There are some things, some particulars that I don't consciously know, but I do know everything as well as all of you at the soul level. The information is all contained there. But what I say with this, when I look at Christianity and we look at some of the numbers, statistics, it's suggesting that there's about a quarter of the world or more are Christians. And when I look at that number and I compare that to the number of how many consents we have in GPMS.world, the numbers don't really match up, meaning that at this time with GPMS.world, we should have been done, is what I feel with it. When you look at, let's say, Christianity, 2.4 billion believers. And that number, ideally, should have been into GPMS.world for the simple reason that the theologists of Christianity, the church, the speakers of Christianity, should have been just so simply able to recognize GPMS as being the New Testament, the rapture, the promise, the deliverance. But we don't see that yet. And of course, when we look at the churches, like everything else that had good intentions, when we also look at the churches, we see how that has been manipulated worldwide as well. And just one of examples of the infiltration of the church by the darkness is seeing the many pedophile priests, if you will. And this shows you that the darkness went in to infiltrated the church to distort and manipulate it, and to put the church into subservience, meaning that the beast system, because of the money, also controlled the church and influenced the church from standing and being the true conduit of God. Again, as what Jesus said. So what you actually see with many of the churches is that they are contradicting, even though they're speaking the word of Jesus and God, at the same time they're contradicting what was spoken about. And when we look at the Pharisees, Babylon, these old laws that were not in alignment with God, and again, when Jesus brought the divine laws and the simplicity of it in alignment with God, but holding steadfast with God, again, what you see is the churches have been compromised and controlled and put into submission by the darkness itself, and twisted everything with what the church was, forced the church to beg for money as well. And this is part of the control of the system, and to the control of the church, and to distort it as well, to diminish it. So there's always, with the darkness, an underlying agenda to affect their means, what they wish. And it's all about the control and the infliction of harm upon humanity, the enslavement, the control. And one of the great controls was that they use is the beast system, the money, and the artificial laws to inflict, harm. But it's really about the energy. So they use the money, if you will, with their monetary system. They use the money as an energetic control to keep ones in negative and fear emotions. And with the divine plan of GPMS.world, it flips the table on the beast machine's instrument of money. And what it does, it uses their own instrument against them, against the darkness. So the divine plan is ingenious because it equally gives everyone comfortable money worldwide, and also it eradicates, there is no more debt, no more taxes, none of that foolishness. It's a full-blown, full-fledged credit to the world that just makes money, really, because there's so much of it everywhere. It makes it not required anymore, because in this new world, what it creates is everyone is sharing and caring, and there is no restrictions nor any bad control by the money. So we flip the control of the money. You take it away from the beast machine and you give it to all of the people, and you give it equally. And what this does, then it creates great joy. And this is the metaphysics element also of GPMS.world. Simply, great joy is higher vibration. Misery and suffering is lower vibration. And once you, with metaphysics, once you have everyone in higher vibration, or a large portion of it, you can also create the flashpoints, which transcends reality to the higher places. So again, it never was about money. It's about the actual energy and the constant infliction of suffering and misery upon humanity. And one of their biggest inflictions of harm is with their beast system, was creating the poverty and the extreme poverty and lack, and creating classes of people to cause division as well. So also with their artificial laws and their court systems, again, it's all designed to be in their favor and to protect their beast machine. That's why you can look at any of, you can take their whole, what they call their whole legal system worldwide, and even when you look at the International Court of Justice, the World Court, if you will, when you look at the arbitrators or the judges in there, immediately there is the conflict of interest in their highest court by their judges or arbitrators being in conflict of interest, because they are paid by money from, let's say, all of the countries of the world. So if the judges were to go against the system, they are controlled. Something would happen to them, or they would, let's say, lose their jobs, meaning that a judge then is not going to bite the hand that feeds them. But it's conflict of interest that does not allow any judge to decide impartially, which is law, because they are directly influenced by the money that they get paid. So really, they are not an independent decision maker, and they cannot impartially make that decision. So not only is it by that one thing? There are many more things, and I will not go into that, but I need to show it again how at the very top the entire system is controlled. With the World Bank and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and then, you know, the centralized banks in every country. What I need to say again is that they create money at will, and they can create it instantly. So they put the illusion upon humanity that money needs to be backed by something, if you will. But the real truth is that even the World Bank and all of these things cannot substantiate the way that they make money with their fiscal policies, the way that they do it for humanity. Really, it cannot be substantiated at all, because you ask the question, all right, really, the world can decide where they wish to appropriate the value. Do they appropriate the value on, let's say, gold, which is limited and causes suffering because not everyone has it? Or would the wisest good thing in the people's best interest is to appropriate the value upon every individual, and to know that it's unlimited, and do the right thing with the money instead of doing the wrong thing? But again, money is created instantly out of thin air, and it really doesn't need to be have a base or an extrinsic sort of value. The intrinsic value is within each individual. So money would not exist if all of you were not here. But I'm beginning to get a little bit more into the rationale and the common sense of GPMS, and showing also how the current beast system worldwide cannot exist and cannot go forward any further because the illusion is exposed. So, getting back to these great judgment days, what I suggest is for each, whatever your guidance is, if you're told to go to higher ground, if you feel that very deeply, obey it and do it. Because also, you know, it was written in the Bible in places that in the great time, run forward, don't look back. And metaphorically, that's important, but also literally, meaning that if you're told to seek higher ground, you do it, because you can see no longer is it just a story, that it's actually occurring. For example, all of those that are experiencing more and more of the widespread flooding, you know, perhaps if they would have listened to the things, some things in the Bible at least, and just kept on higher land, they would not be experiencing this suffering now. And also, it was told not to be in cities. You can see that in the Bible, to run from the cities, go to the hills. And so it's been written, and what you see now is the proof that it is happening. When you apply what was given to what is occurring in the world now, you know, one is not stupid to say, well, yeah, you know, we were told this, and now it's happening. You know, perhaps this is very real, and we should do these things. So again, with that, it is occurring, and for everyone, keep your faith and your trust, because also you were told that you could walk through fields of fire as long as you believe. So what this means is that follow what you're divinely guided to do, where you should be geographically positioned on Earth, also the topography, the elevations that you may need to be at. Follow that. Follow what you feel. But don't go into fear. Don't go into a survival mode. Just go into what may be a temporary mode, meaning that no matter what occurs, if you're genuine, well, as all of you are, or should be at least, sometimes the darkness watches these things, to try to see what the light is doing, but we're always one step ahead of the darkness. And one of the great things is the darkness at times, it is easy to entrap them as well. So that goes on to force the darkness into their judgment, to force them into action, which judges theirself. So there are those things that do occur. So again, keep your faith and your trust fully in who you are as a divine one, and also your connection to Mother and Father God, which both are very real. For any that may accept what I'm about to say, the essence of Mother in Gaia, if you will. So when we look at the beliefs before Father Sky, Mother Earth, if you will, well, actually what has occurred is that the physical, or the essence of Mother, has ascended beside the Father. So they are both forward in time where they need to be for all of us to go forward to that time of equality as well. So it's already been done that, if you will, Mother is beside Father in heaven. So she has gone forward to prepare at least the equal existence of the masculine and feminine gender. So having said that, it is setting up the new reality. So as with Father, but more so with Mother, from, even though, let's say, the Mother essence as a whole, Divine Mother, has ascended, she is still connected to the earth, to Gaia, to each one of us as well. For that connection is never broken with the children of God and the co-creation of what we all are. So I wanted to say that and share it, and for us that know and believe, and to share with others the masculine God, Prime Creator, is very real, as well as the feminine Prime Creator God is also very real. We have the both representations, and it has to be that way here. If you did not have that, you would not have the equality for the new world already preordained, with the masculine and feminine in equality with the new world, and working together in harmony as one, rather than the age-old battles with gender and the suppression of the feminine. So again, both the masculine and the feminine have been suppressed. However, in this time, it's important for the feminine to rise out of that enslaving beliefs and suppression. They must rise. They must do their divine part as well. So there's a little bit of an unknown area, how many goes forward, also to create this going forward, and how many doesn't. But it doesn't really ever matter on how many that does not. It matters on collecting those that do, because that is the definite and that is the power. So that's where to keep the focus is on the unity, and of course going forward. So with this, I see Sister Nya is just joined us, and this is very important, what is occurring with Sister Nya and her children, because it's more of the breakdown of the system, exposing and revealing it, how it has manipulated, stole children, and its lies and its deceit. So Sister Nya and I may have a live later today to give you the update of what has occurred when she did go into their court yesterday. So again, it reveals, excuse me, even more obvious revealing information as well, of the 6 sadistic actions. And it's not just lower consciousness. What you begin to discover, you see the actual evil intent, but you see the evil desperation and the evil fear, if you will. And again, these ones are not just bad human souls. It's not that. It goes much deeper, as I said in the beginning of this live. So, just to finish this, perhaps, the suggestions are follow if you're given to go to higher land, or even to geographically relocate, do it, follow it, because you may say, oh, I'm on a mountain, the water won't get me. But if you feel to leave there and go somewhere else, it could be possible that a fire could break out on the mountain. So it's important not to try to, it's important just to obey without trying to question everything and to look at every possible outcome. It's better just to listen to your guidance, because of the intuition, which is forward in time, and it assists you to navigate. So follow what you feel to do at geographically relocating, if that comes in to your consciousness and into your heart and into your feelings, or if it's divinely delivered directly from your connection with Mother, Father, and God, and the higher realms. Follow it. Don't disobey it. It's important to follow it. So do that. Keep in your full trust, your full faith in God, and know again that this time has been written about. It's been given to the majority of the planet. It has been seeded. You're seeing it come now. Any naysayers to that, just don't even listen or be distracted by what they're saying. Go by what you know and what you feel. And again, you can look worldwide, that the majority of the population, to some degree, has been seeded with the information to take note of this time when these events began to occur. So it is very real. And keep your faith, keep your trust, your belief in God, and the belief in yourself as being a child of God. And keep doing in this great time just only good deeds. Do not resort into anger. Well, most of you have done your inner work, so really you cannot get angry, and if you do, it would be a divine, important reason for it. But what we wish to do is to be the opposite, and because if you get angry, that is lower density vibration, and you don't wish to do that. You wish to keep as high as possible. So again, just keeping your trust, remain as neutral and objective as you can, and also positive where you can, not negative, because if you get negative, you add to the overall negative effects and what is occurring worldwide. The energetic value, because of so much fear and what have you, is also compounding and adding to more and more storms. But again, Father and Mother has taken this into their own hands to facilitate the ascension. So the extensive, unprecedented worldwide floods, fires, and all hailstorms, all of these are divine mechanisms to effect the separating of the wheat from the chaff, the sheep from the goats. This has all been written, and this is what it's designed to divinely do, to facilitate. And the omnipotence and omnipresence of God is very real, and it's very real for each one of you that has that connection to that omnipotence and omnipresence and the knowing as well. So that's to keep in your full trust and in your full faith. And to know that, yes, the times are getting more intense, but do not get caught up into the negativity of it, and know that it has to occur, but also be joyful where you're seeing it culminate and becoming more widespread, because it means we're very close in that final hour, if you will, before the deliverance unto the new world. Now, what will how long is the final hour? The final hour could be hours, could be days, could be months. I won't even go to say that it could be years, because really by looking at all the indicators, I don't see it being very long. I do not see it a year from now, the intensity ongoing. And so let's say the worldwide floods is beginning to catch attention by many, and when they look up and begin to say, all right, perhaps God is very real, we are in the judgment days, then once their consciousness aligns with that, they begin to get the substantiating evidence and confirmations that it is so. So with this, thank you everyone that contributed financially to assist Femke and I just to keep going forward in this temporary transitory time into the new world of abundance. And I'm very grateful for the supporters that assist with this, and I know how hard it is out there for many. And with this, divinely, I've been placed at the bottom. I've been disciplined and put at the bottom level to be able to survive, if you will, off of very little, but to not be controlled by the money, if you will. And I need to be here, and truly, if again, what I can say is, if Femke and I, as part of our divine role, did not need to do this stuff, we could really live off of probably no money at all. because we are, let's say, divinely disciplined, but it's because of what we have to do as part of our divine role that we need a little bit of the money just to keep us going. And again, this is not about us making money off of ones. It's about being genuine and bringing everyone forward. And just for, again, public disclosure, I didn't add the figures up exactly, but I think that last year, Femke and I, the entire year, and we only get funding from the ones that support us, that we existed off of around half of the poverty level of 2, or we lived off of about half of that, is what I wish to say. And so, I wish to, I could say it was probably around 16,000 euros. It might not have been that much. Let's say that's how much come in, but also with fees, and when we exchange, it's actually much less because we lose so much. So we probably could have just off of 12,000 euros or less is what 2 of us survived off of and paid everything last year. But the only reason we have everything, but the only reason I'm sharing this again is, full disclosure to show that I don't do these lives. We don't put things out for money. It's part of our divine work to do it. And as I said, I could be, if this was just about a human Rick, I could be in the mountains anywhere, surviving off of no money at all. But what you see with Rick and Femke, were every day, all of our time and our hours are put in on the phone. It's very rare that we take a break. However, again, we're in our full trust and our knowing with this important divine mission that it's not about us and about living a life here. It's about this important mission and ascension. And for Femke, Femke was in a very comfortable place, happy family, her children loving, her husband, an excellent provider. And, when it comes the time when Femke got called, she had to leave all of that security behind, and she had to leave it to do the divine work in the divine mission. And she was called to do that, and she could not refuse it because, again, in her own way, she was called by God to do this mission. And, as Femke said many times, it's about the children as well, meaning it's not about us, it's about all of the children, all of the souls worldwide, to assist them. So you can look at Femke very quickly making that sacrifice, leaving all of the comfort and luxury behind to do the right things. And we're doing this now, as many more of you are. So, it's very real what we do, and it's very important. But again, the joyful thing is that we're getting very close, to having, we're getting very close to the end of the old world. At the same time, we're creating the new, all of us together, and it takes all of you and all of us together to do that. And as Father told me when I first come here, it's a big ground crew of us. It's to gather all of the rest, if you will, and I know some of you have heard this, to gather the rest, to create the unity, because it's not to be done by one, it's to be done by all. And in this great time, we use, you could say, the labels of the Christos Sophia, and the Christ and the Mary Magdalene, the Sophia, the Mother Mary is within many. So I like to say there are many Christ-like here at this time, and many Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. So many are here. It's not to be done by one. It's to be done by the unity and bring everyone together to effect the new reality as well. So, having said that, I must leave everyone go at this time. So, yes, we are in the final judgment days. Follow what you're given by God and what you're given by yourself. It's important that that if you need to stand, also stand. So it's important, whatever you're guided to do. So there is the physical work that we have yet here to do on the ground. That's why we call this the ground crew, the divine incarnates, like myself and many of you that are divine designees here to nurture and orient this reality to the fruition of the ascended world and everything that partakes in that, what it includes. So again, yeah, I'll keep it simple. With that, namaste, peace, big love, and light and gratitude, and have an amazing day. And we got this, and got to be soon, it'll be over.